And here's the snap. Hands it to Audric Estime, and that is and should be a touchdown. Here we go. Bryson Barnes has got his back behind him. It is Jaquindon Jackson. Here's the snap. Bryson Barnes looking deep. He's got a man. It's caught! He's gone! Touchdown early! And good morning, everybody, and welcome to College Football Wraparound. I'm Cooper Naylor. So glad that you could be with us here today. And so we've got a lot to talk about. Last night, though, Utah being taken down by Arizona State. Arizona State, very interesting football team. So we'll dive into that a little bit later. We got some games to talk about, and then we got our game picks. So we've got a great show for you here today. So let's go ahead and start with Utah and Arizona State. So last night, Arizona State gets a 27-19 win over Utah. And this is a game that Cam Rising, I believe, his first game back, it was rough for him. He you could tell that the hand injury, whatever it was definitely affecting him all throughout the ball game. So his stat line, 16 of 37, 209 yards, 3 interceptions. It was rough for Cam Rising. And there was a lot of plays where it was like Rising would it'd be short on the pass. So, I mean, Cam Rising, I'll say this. When he is fully healthy, Utah is a really good football team. You could tell he was not fully healthy last night, and so it dictated the rest of this game. And so, what was another big factor? Well, probably the biggest factor of the game was Cam Scatabo, the running back for Arizona State. 22 carries, 158 yards on the ground, 2 touchdowns. Now, this guy, he's very versatile. He can do a lot of things for that Arizona State offense. He is their lead guy. And then you look at, they got their quarterback, Sam Levitt, who I believe he got hurt, but I think he came back in the ball game against Utah last night. He went 11 of 18, 154, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. So, I mean, he didn't really have to do a whole lot. So, Arizona State, they get the 27-19 win. What does this say about Utah? Well, like I said, I think a lot of it has to do with Cam Rising not being fully healthy. But their run game, was not bad. I mean, Micah Bernard, their running back, 21 carries, 129 yards, 1 touchdown. I mean, it's not bad. So you want to look at some team stats. These teams were rather even. Utah, 349 total yards, 343 Arizona. You look at the passing yards, Utah 209 to Arizona State's 167. Running on the ground, Arizona State 176 to 140 Utah. I mean, Utah had more first downs in this ball game, third down efficiency. Utah was better. It's just the three interceptions that Cam Rising threw to 1 of Sam Levitt. That's the big difference here. And then Scatabo had a really good football game for Arizona State. So yeah, Arizona State, they're a good football team. They're 5-1 now, and I can already guarantee this: they'll be in the ranking. They'll be in our SBN poll next week. They'll be there. Now, who they may replace, only time can tell. But of course, Arizona State's a good football team. They definitely deserve to be ranked, and so Arizona State, they gained a lot of respect from me last night. All right, let's now turn our attention to, let's predict some football games. And so let's start out by talking about this Kansas State-Colorado game. Now, I will start by saying this, okay? Yes, we have Colorado ranked in our SBN poll, and that's kind of a shocker here for me, at least, because um I if you've watched my channel for a while, you know this, and that is that I've been very openly critical of Deion Sanders. Now, um, this ball game, it's I believe in the SBN poll, so I can get it pulled up real quick. But this is the you got number 17 Kansas State against 25 Colorado here in my SBN poll. Um, okay, here's the thing. Colorado's defense, I think it's better, but I still don't know. Can they stop a guy like Avery Johnson on the ground who can be mobile, who can make some plays with his legs? I think that's the difference in this ball game. Now, of course, I'll give you my game picks here in a little while, but Kansas State right now, I think they're the better team coming into this ball game, and Kansas State I feel like is proven more than what Colorado has. Although I have Colorado ranked. So we'll see how everything shakes out in this football game. It's going to be very interesting for sure. But we'll have to wait and see. Another game to talk about is Stanford and Notre Dame. Stanford not ranked. Notre Dame is now the number 10 team in the SBN poll. Stanford, here's the thing. It's their quarterback Ashton Daniels and their receiver Elliot Ayamaner that I feel like is a big thing here. If I feel like if Ashton Daniels is getting the ball to Elliot Ayamaner quite a bit, Notre Dame is in a lot of trouble here because I don't know if there is. I mean, Elliot Ayamaner is one of the best receivers in college football. He just does not get a lot of attention because he's playing at Stanford, and Stanford is not really that. Is not an incredible football team. Ashton Daniels also, he's a very mobile quarterback, so he is a scary threat when it comes to dual threat quarterbacks. When you're playing against them, he's interesting. So I would say that this is going to be a very interesting football game for sure. And then you have Notre Dame, which I think the last few weeks they've looked better. Of course, they took down Louisville at home, but it still is interesting to me because I feel like we're still trying to figure out who Notre Dame is. Now, granted, their schedule is not as hard as what a lot of teams are. So if you're Notre Dame, this is a game you have to win. And so if you lose this game, then this is really going to hurt your chances at a college football playoff spot. Now, granted also that if you're a 2-loss Notre Dame football team, and the thing that I believe is that since there's no conference championship game for them, at least in this model of the playoff, I feel like it's going to hurt them. Unless there's a lot of 2-loss football teams, then I feel like Notre Dame gets pushed in there because it's Notre Dame. And whether the committee wants to admit it or not, TV ratings are what's important to them as well as the product on the field. So Notre Dame, feel like if they want to secure a spot in the playoff, I feel like they got to win out from here on. But we'll wait and see what happens. I mean, this is going to be a good football game between Notre Dame and Stanford. Another game, Arizona and BYU. You got undefeated Arizona, or not Arizona, undefeated BYU against, I think it's 3-2 Arizona, I believe. Now, Arizona to me is a very interesting football team, okay? They took down Utah. They've lost a couple games, though. I fully expect Arizona to come out in this game and really play good football. BYU, we had them a couple weeks ago on the channel for a special Friday night football game. I'll say this. BYU is one of those teams that it's shocking to hear they're undefeated because they just don't seem like a team that would be undefeated. they struggled against an SMU football team, and so right now, um, I have a gut feeling Arizona's going to have a really good football game, even though they're going to be on the road at BYU. So we'll have to wait and see. But of course, McMillan, the receiver for Arizona, and then you got the quarterback. I'll look that up real quick because that's important. Oh yeah, Noah Fafita. Noah Fafita is the quarterback for Arizona. That connection is going to be big. And then I'm interested, Jake Retzloff, the quarterback of BYU. I think he's getting better. Still, I want to see more from him today. So we'll wait and see what happens in this football game. It's going to be very interesting. All right. Let's talk about Ole Miss and LSU. Now, big key factors in this game for Ole Miss is quarterback Jackson Dart. This Ole Miss team this is a big game for them. Their schedule so far has been very relaxed, but they lost at home to Kentucky. Here's a big time moment. You're playing against LSU. I'm interested because you have to come out and play your best football here today. LSU, I'll say this. Right now, I would give the just because I feel like the way Ole Miss showed up against Kentucky makes you think, oh, well, LSU looks like the better team right now. So LSU, they got Garrett Nussmeier, and the thing is, I feel like both teams, because Ole Miss lost Quinshon Judkins, LSU lost a bunch of receivers. Both teams offensively, I feel like, are trying to find whoever their X factors are on the receiver side. So that's going to be big to see tonight. I think that's a very interesting dynamic for this football game. Now, I will say both quarterbacks, I think, are two of the best in the country right now. So this is going to be a really fun football game for you to watch. So we'll see. All right, let's talk about it. South Carolina and Alabama. Now, this is a game where Alabama coming off the bad loss to Vanderbilt, which, let's be honest, that was a bad game for Alabama. You got South Carolina. I believe they got beat to Ole Miss last week. So if you look at it, South Carolina, let me start by saying this, okay? Their quarterback, Lenore Sanders, he's a mobile quarterback, which, just like Diego Pavia, that's what Lenore Sanders is. He can make plays with his legs if you need him to. So if you're Alabama this afternoon, this is going to be big. You got to stop the mobile quarterback. For Alabama's defense, they've got to figure out how to stop a team on third down. If you go back, and last 6 quarters, third and fourth down has just been bad for Alabama. So if you're Alabama, you gotta play all the way through a team's possession whenever you're on defense. Now for South Carolina, you just gotta exploit that defense as far as go and let Lenore Sanders make some plays, take some shots, weaken that secondary of Alabama. And quite frankly, I think you got to win if you're South Carolina. Now, if you're Alabama, offensively, Alabama's fine. They've got probably one of the best offenses in the country. So, if you look at offense for Alabama, they're fine. Defense has got a lot of work. We'll see today. This is a game that Alabama should win this game. But after the Vanderbilt loss, anything can happen for Alabama. All right. Folks, let's talk about one more game, and then I've got a special commercial to get to. So let's go ahead with this. Texas and Oklahoma. Now you've got the number 1 team in the country, the Texas Longhorns, against our 14th ranked Oklahoma Sooners. What's the big story here? Well, Quinn Ewers is back for Texas, and that is, I think it's huge in the sense of Quinn Ewers. He's got experience in big games. So Texas today, you got your starting quarterback. He's back in the, which is huge. Arch Manning, it's not to say Arch Manning didn't do good. It's just that Texas, Quinn Ewers is more experienced. And so I would rather have that experienced quarterback in to play in a big game than what I would a young quarterback that's never played in a big-time football game like this today. Plus, Steve Sarkisian is a great football coach. So, you got to give credit to Texas where credit's due. Oklahoma, on the other hand, I think the kryptonite to them that they had against Tennessee is that their defense was not able to slow down a really good offense in Tennessee. So if you're Oklahoma today, I think the story is that you got to slow down that Texas offense and you have to go score. Michael Hawkins Jr., the quarterback, is a very mobile quarterback. I feel like Oklahoma definitely has that ability that they can score. They got an offense that's good enough to go score and do some really good things. So if you're Oklahoma, if you can just go down the field, score pretty much every drive that you have, and then find some way to stop Texas today on defense, then I feel like you could have a chance to win this ball game. Now, in recent history, Oklahoma kind of has had Texas' number, especially last year. So we'll see. This is going to be a fun football game for sure. It's a 2:30 kickoff. So I think there's a lot of people who are very excited for this football game, and so we will see. All right, folks, it is now time to let you see the new commercial that we've put together. So now we have 3 commercial packages for our college football broadcast, and so coming up is a commercial where we have a huge announcement. So here you have our new commercial. We'll be right back. Hello, everyone. Now, you may wonder why we come with this commercial, but it's for a good reason. And that is because Savor Broadcast Network now has an official app. Now, this app, it will give you the ability to basically find our social media pages, which is Rumble and YouTube, so you can easily access that. You got early access to the Savor Broadcast Network poll, and you get to see the game picks records after the games are done on Sunday, whenever we get to it. So, folks, if you want a more updated version, like if you want to see things early as far as the records and as far as the network poll, then you can go to the Savor Broadcast Network app. We'll have that link in the community post, and we'll have it in the description. So, hope you enjoy. All right, everybody, welcome back from commercial. So that is our new commercial. Like I said, we have a brand new Savor Broadcast Network app. That's the home of everything Savor Broadcast Network. So, of course, if you want to check that out, then by all means, go ahead, go check that out. Of course, like I said, it's in the description, and you can find it on the community post. So, be on the lookout for that. So, now it is time to turn our attention to our game picks records. All right. So, after these few weeks, which this, of course, last week we didn't have any college football wraparound. So this is as of September 29th. So, Jack is in the lead. He is 35-18. Colton's 32-20. Viewers are 30-20. And I am 29-20. All very close. So, It's anyone's to win at this point in time. So, of course, we will see how this goes. And really, this has been a crazy football season as of this week, it's already been a ridiculous season so far. So let's just continue this great season of college football with more college football content. So, of course. All right. So now, let's talk about who we've got winning these football games. And of course, right now, Colton and Jack, we will they've picked their games, but we will of course get to that. We'll talk to them. I'll talk to them, and then we'll update you on the app as far as how they did tomorrow, and then we'll be back Saturday to tell you about that. So, our first one, Texas and Oklahoma. So, right now, all right, had to sneeze there for a second. Sorry about that. So, right now, for viewers have got 67% Texas in this ball game. Like I said, this is going to be a very interesting ball game. Queen Ewers is back. Oklahoma's defense is interesting. Personally speaking, I think Texas will win this football game. I just feel like they're too good for Oklahoma. Oklahoma is a good football team, but Texas is just better. They're the number one ranked team in the country for a reason. And so, with that being said, give me Texas. All right. Our next game to pick, Kansas State and Colorado. Viewers, 67% Kansas State. I agree with the viewers as well with this one. Colorado's a good football team. Don't get me wrong, but I think Kansas State is better. So I'll take Kansas State every day. USC, Penn State. So here is the deal with this one, okay? The game's being played at USC, and USC's coming off a loss. Miller Moss is very good. I mean, he's an interesting quarterback to watch. For USC, I feel like it's all about, clean up the penalties. If you can do that, then if you're USC, then you can have a lot of success here. Penn State, I think it's just make sure your offense continues to play at a good level. But today, I got to give USC credit, or I got to give USC the win here. I think USC is a team that is going to lose some games that are going to scratch your head, but then I think they're going to beat teams like Penn State and make you think, wow, that's crazy to think about. So USC, I think they get the win over number 5 Penn State. So that's my opinion. Notre Dame and Stanford. Viewers, 100% Notre Dame, and I would agree. Notre Dame, I think, is going to win this football game. They're playing at home. Stanford, don't get me wrong, I think they're an interesting football team, but I still got to give credit to Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame's a better football team than that. Arizona and BYU. Viewers, 60% Arizona. I got to agree. I think Arizona wins this football game because I don't know how much I trust BYU and this undefeated record, so give me Arizona. LSU and Ole Miss, very interesting football game. Viewers, 100% LSU. I would agree. I think the big difference, Garrett Nussmeier is just going to outplay Jackson Dart. I think that's just, at the end of the day, that's what's going to happen. Alabama, South Carolina. Viewers have Alabama 100%. I would agree with it. Jalen Milroe, I feel like, is going to be really mad. And I think Alabama comes out and wins this ball game. Cal and Pitt. Viewers have 67% Pitt. I would agree. I think Pitt wins this football game. I think it's very interesting. And Cal, don't get me wrong, they're an interesting football team as well. But Pitt, they got Eli Holstein. He was a I think he was like third string or fourth string quarterback at Alabama last season. So give me Pitt. And then Washington and Iowa, viewers 75% Washington. I would agree. I think Washington's a very interesting football team. Um, of course, they got Will Rogers as their quarterback. Jed Fish comes over as their head coach. Give me Washington. I think they're a good football team for sure. And then finally, Ohio State and Oregon later tonight. Oh, just a barn burner of a football game. Ohio State, of course, they got all this talent on the offensive side. I mean, they got that breakout receiver Jeremiah Smith, who's a freshman. Um, really, if you look at freshman receivers this year, you've got Jeremiah Smith, and then you got Ryan Williams from Alabama. I mean, this is incredible. But I've got Ohio State. So does the viewers. So very interesting football game for sure. And folks, that is all we have for today. Of course, like a oh goodness, sorry, excuse me. Like I said, no college football game broadcast today, so we will of course try to do one whenever we can. So with that being said, thank y'all for watching. We'll talk to you again later. Goodbye, everybody.